Hello everybody! Welcome to a Snapshot preview. This is for 13, too used to last year. This is 13 week 01A. There's a lot of new features. This is the first snapshot for our Redstone update. And to start us off, we've got a new ore in the Nether. It's called the Nether Quartz ore, and what you get from it is the Nether Quartz. So that's used in a few of the crafting recipes, but another new addition for the Nether is if you take netherrack and smelt it in a furnace, you get nether brick. And so that can be used 2x2 to make the nether bricks that we're used to, and you can further craft from that. Now, what you can use the Nether Quartz for first is the daytime sensor as they have it. It's just 3 glass, 3 nether quartz, and 3 wooden slabs. So that is used to detect whether or not it's daytime. It sends out a redstone signal with a variable power. 1 second, I'm gonna turn off the music. And it changes based on the time of day. So let's say morning, okay, I just set this up really quick. See, it only goes a little bit of the way. I set it to the daytime though, and it goes all the way down to the end. This one here is 16, so it goes a full 15 blocks if it's middle of the day. In the evening, it cuts down really low again. And then pure nighttime, nothing coming out at all. So that's our daytime sensor. It can be used with the Comparator to set up an actual light switches or other things. What it is this detects a signal length, and based off of the signal behind it or to the side of it, which is the 2 different ones. Sorry, I don't have that set up actually. But pretty much we have a signal coming out behind it and a signal coming from the side. So if the signal behind it is greater than the signal to the side, then it will actually output the rest of the signal. So it'll just pretty much continue further outwards. So you can see there is a secondary state. If you click it, it should work. I've seen some things with this. I think you might need to, there. See, now if you click it, it takes the difference between the 2 of them, and that's what it outputs as signal strength. So like this, as you can see, it only puts out the rest of it, whereas if I turn it off, it just continues as if it's allowed through. Now that's just, I'm not sure exactly what you can do with that, but I'm sure there's other nice things. How you would use this for a light sensor is, say this is 15 and you only want the lights to turn on when you have a full thing. So I could go like this. That's our input. So that's 15. Then this one right here is 15. Oh, that's not going to work like that, is it? So that's 15, 14 there. 15, 14, 13. So this will only output if it's full daytime. If I go evening, oh yeah, this is off. There. So if I go evening, it doesn't work at all, but if I go daytime, it'll output. And that way you can set it. And just based off of how far this is away compared to this, will determine whether or not you can do it at daytime or nighttime or whatever. And that's just an example of what you can do for the combination between the 2. Now, over here, I was just messing around with some things, and I noticed a little bit of effect. It pulls a signal from this, from a block similar to a repeater, but I think it only pulls a weak signal. There's currently an issue where it seems that if I use this in front of it, maybe it only pulls the one. It'll actually light that as well. But as you can see, no redstone signal comes out when I pull from a block. similar if you have a repeater pulling from a block. So I can use something like that, and as you can see, the repeater pulls from the block and still powers the lamp over here. It'll only power that one. However, if I turn on the switch on this side, it'll actually power both of them, because this will pull that full signal out and it'll turn both of them on. I'm also not sure what you could do with something like this, but I'm sure the Redstone geniuses could figure something out. It's just an interesting way of splitting an input, or splitting two inputs to go to different outputs. So there's that there. Now, another Redstone thing they have is the Redstone Block. It's similar to how a redstone torch will work, except that it can be moved. So I set up just a little clock here. I turn this off, it moves forward, turns off this torch when that signal turns on, and then pushes the piston back again, and as you can see, it just on and off. I can flick this like that, make even a really fast clock, burn out the torch. Oh, I need another red repeater. But yeah, as you can see, just an interesting, I'd like to see what can be done with this. I know there was some people were trying to use pistons to make some flying machines, but a big issue is the fact that any redstone device you put down pretty much gets destroyed when it moves. So that'll be interesting to see. Now, actually we'll go over here first. They have a new chest. It's called the trap chest. So you can see it's a little orange around the outside compared to the black normal, and if I show you really quick here, the inside of it's red too. But that wouldn't help very much if you're in a situation like this. Now, there's a chest here at the end, and I just go up to it, and in survival I'd probably only be able to reach this at the very end. I wouldn't be able to reach it from the back. But I go up, open the chest, and suddenly I fall down. Now this doesn't use any sort of bud or anything like that. What it uses is the fact that the chest, when opened, emits a signal based off of the number of people opening it. So one person opening it equals lowest strength redstone signal. Now around back here, I just have that going straight into a block, and I pull that out with a repeater, and there's a piston just sitting in here, and it pulls that out of the way. So a nice little trap. If I turned the chest around even, you wouldn't even be able to tell that it's a trap chest from behind. And as well with chests, they now have a hopper. What it does is it pulls items from a chest above it, and then it puts them into a space below it. There's a few things about placing this that are interesting. If you place it, it will actually point towards the direction away. I don't think it'll point up though. So you can see, yeah, it'll just point you're facing. So if you want to face it pointing down, you actually have to face down to place it. It doesn't automatically connect to a nearby chest or anything. You have to specify. I think that can be used to do something like putting it like this, or shift, click, no. Oh, I guess it doesn't work with those. If you put it sideways so that you can, fill sideways into a cart. But for now I have a setup just above it. So what I can do is I put things into here. They'll actually go through the hopper and they'll end up in the minecart. Now, if you see, I can put them in the hopper itself and they'll also end up in the minecart. So we'll empty everything we have here. As you can see, it takes a little while to do it, but then it's all done. And all the items are now in here. Another thing you can do, you should be able to eventually, I think, place the track on top of it. In fact, I'll actually just show you one thing about the feature as well. If you take an item and throw it down on top of the hopper, it actually gets taken into it. So that's just an interesting thing. So I'm eventually guessing that they'll have track go over the top of a hopper, but right now it won't. So I set up this little bit to show you something. I just run the cart over the hopper, and you see that it's actually pulled some items out and placed them into there. So if you just leave it on top, of course, it'll do the same thing. I think you could do a piston setup where you drop the item onto the cart onto the hopper, and then have a piston push this back onto a side track or something. I just wanted to set this up simply to show that you could do something like this with it. Now, to the last few things they've added in. First of all, there's some inventory tweaks. I have all these stacks here. If I actually take an item, and I think all I need to do is double click it, yeah, and it'll pick up full stacks worth of that item. So if it's a 16 stack item, it will pick only 16 up, and so on. I can also pick up an item and place it down like this using a left click, and it'll actually spread it out evenly between all of the areas I press down on. As well, I can press the right click and it'll only put one in each slot, even if you go over it again. However, if you click a second time, it'll be able to place a second of that down, a third time, a third of that down, as you can see. It also pulls from the top left if you're doing the double click action, so there's that. Now, the last thing you can do is you can actually shift click, and it'll empty all of, say, your inventory of that item into a chest, and that's a shift double click. So I bring this over here, nothing, but it'll actually pull out of a chest too, so I can do this, and it'll give me all of that item, which is really nice, because now you can just pop it out, pop it in, you know. You can also, if you're the kind that likes to have everything neatly stacked, you can put it that way. Or if you're the kind who likes to have the empty stacks, you can now do that. You can also do that, and you'll fill them up. Really easy for inventory management for the people who like it. And on to the pressure plates. They've added 2 new pressure plates. There's the gold and the iron pressure plate. That's actually the lightweight and the heavyweight ones. Oh, by the way, with the trap chest, it's simply you place a chest with a tripwire hook on either the left or the right side of it. So that's how you craft it. Yes, onto the pressure plates. The heavy one is made with just 2 iron ingots, and then the light one is made with 2 gold ingots. And what it'll do is it'll place a variable redstone signal out the end based off of how much is put on it. So like here's 1. Oop, too close. So there's 1 item. I keep placing items down. The signal starts to go up. As you can see, it takes quite a few items before the signal actually goes up. And I think you need a full stack to reach the full what would you call it? Full weight. Huh. Huh. Oh, wait, no, here. That's Alt throw. No, forget how to get rid of a full stack. Okay, there. Yeah, as you can see, it turns on the full signal that way. Now, the iron one, if I throw down a full stack, it'll only go 2. So it actually takes a lot more stacks before it'll fill up. So let's see here. That one takes a full stack to fill up. This one, let's say we got 3 there, we got 5 there, 6, 7, 8. So yeah, see, I put down 5 stacks of it, and it only went up to 8. So I'd think it would take a full 10 stacks to be able to light this completely up. And so this is actually useful for item drop and other things, just pretty much anything that uses item drops, as far as like mob systems, whatnot, or you could use this for an adventure map where you have to throw down a certain number of items before you have to collect a certain number of an item to open it or something. I'm sure the map makers will find much more uses for these than regular survivor players. In fact, a lot of this stuff will actually be really useful in map making. Now, I think that is about it. Those are all the new features that they've added in 13 week 1. And I'd like to see what more we can do with this. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you want to see more. And I'll see you guys next time.